Today we are talking about money. Money's awkward to talk about. Money is a human invention, like language and queuing. Like, we all just decided that this system of physical tokens and numbers on a screen would represent our time, our safety, our power in this world, the pleasure that we get to have. And it works. The system works until it doesn't, especially if your brain, like mine, isn't wired for abstract modern systems like budgeting and debt. Subscription management. Like, why is there a subscription for everything in my life now? I feel like next it'll be mortgage subscriptions like in Black Mirror. I am about to turn 36. And when I was 35, I was diagnosed with ADHD inattentive type. So what that means is I'm able to spend like 6 hours straight hyper focusing on my current obsession right now, that is nervous system regulation and the vagus nerve. And I can focus so hard on like one thing that I'm really interested in, right? It also means I can forget to pay a parking ticket over again and over again. My husband will remind me on a Monday, on a Tuesday, Thursday. By the Friday, he is standing over me and he's like, Melanie, I'm not gonna walk away until I've physically, with my eyeballs, seen you paying the parking ticket, because if you don't pay it, it's gonna go up. It's gonna cost more money. Do people often forget to pay parking tickets? Yes. ADHD, to get diagnosed with that, it has to have been a pattern in your life across many different areas since childhood. And on my assessment, like, my dad had to sit there for a very long time. And I'll admit that before I got diagnosed, when it came to ADHD, I was a little bit like Tony Soprano when it's suggested to him that his son might have it. And he says things like,
he fidgets with hands or feet.
That's right.
You mean like he fidgets?
Uh-huh.
And that's a sickness, to fidget.
Mr. Soprano, it's one of 9 possible symptoms.
What constitutes a fidget?
But since getting diagnosed, I have learned so much. It became a new hyper-focused obsession topic. So I feel like I've learned everything that I can, and I understand so much now about myself, and it's helped every aspect of my life, even my relationships, even down to the silliest things. Like, for years, I would put a wash in the washing machine. I'd completely forget I had put it in the washing machine. My husband would find it after I had turned it on for a 3rd time, and he would be losing his mind that I was wasting electricity. And then we would bicker about how I would never remember. And anyway, now I'm banned from the washing machine. So like, we've systems. We've been able to put so many systems in place. And anyway, I want to make a mini series about ADHD, the things I'm now realizing that it impacted from my past, and that it still impacts, like parenting. But there's been, food, exercise, work, like so many things. So if you can think of anything you'd like a video like this on, let me know below. They'll just be chatty, full of tips on what helped. And today it's all about money. Now, you don't have to have ADHD to benefit from this video. If you always feel like financial stability is just out of reach, no matter how hard you try, it's not a personal failure. It's this world that's just not built for brains like ours. The ADHD tax is real. In the wild, having ADHD was a superpower. It wasn't a dysfunction. People weren't seen to be zoning out. They were zoning outward, scanning the environment for changes, for danger, like noticing patterns that other people missed out on, storing ridiculous knowledge for when it mattered most. But nowadays, when we're expected to remember like 17 boring passwords, our wiring gets labelled as a flaw. And money comes with a lot of emotions. It's an emotional subject, especially for women, especially for neurodivergent women. It's about so much more than just being able to pay your bills. Like, it's about freedom and autonomy, identity and safety, and so much more. So I do think this is a really important topic of conversation. So here goes. I want to talk about why ADHD brains were not designed for capitalism, and that is not a conspiracy. It's neuroscience. I want to talk about what finally helped me to stop overspending and start saving. I did make a money video a couple of years ago, and so I'll be building on some of the things I mentioned. I now no longer feel absolutely sick to my stomach when I open my banking apps. Basically, I want to tell you how I now spend less money, but I feel so much richer. Right, so capitalism plus ADHD equals dumpster fire. ADHD isn't new. It's not a modern disease, even though you will definitely have people in your life who are like, everybody's getting diagnosed with ADHD. A lot more people are. However, if you look at the actual population, it's a very small percentage. It's just we're being a bit louder about it. And also content creation happens to attract a lot of ADHD types because it is just perfectly suited to our brains. So a lot of my favorite content creators in recent times have been diagnosed, and I now understand why I love their videos so much. I now understand why at a party I will always, I'm like a magnet for people who are neurodivergent, whether they have autism or ADHD, and I get on brilliantly with other neurodivergent people. Like the conversation, it's just never small talk. It just goes straight to like, blah, 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 and it's the same with a taxi driver or just anyone. And yeah, once upon a time, before Google Calendars, before interest rates, as I mentioned, people with ADHD were the people in the tribe to notice danger first. We thrived in unpredictability. We reacted first to danger. Like we had a place, we had a purpose. Tribes needed people who were really energetic and curious and hyper aware. And yes, back then it didn't need any kind of label. But what's happened is we've jumped forward 10,000 years. We're now stuck in a system where we're expected to be able to manage spreadsheets. We're supposed to remember to renew our car insurance. Like there's just the 50 billion things that come along with adulting. And I know my brain needs novelty and stimulation, and I'm trying to operate in a world that rewards long-term planning, patience, very boring admin, and that's very, very hard. Like modern systems expect us to delay gratification. They expect us to predict the future by anticipating upcoming costs, like for, people's birthdays, or like whether or not the car might break and need repairs. For my brain, there's now and there's not now. Okay? And that's why planning for events that are in the future and that are like vague or hypothetical and are not commanding my immediate like hyper-focus interest, whatever that is, like it just does not come naturally at all. We're expected to mentally track all kinds of numbers like bills, interest rates, the balances of different bank accounts. My brain basically files almost everything under deal with later. We're expected to sit still and not react to every limited time sale notification. Like I feel like a golden retriever trying to do taxes. That's what it feels like to be me in this world. Right, so how my ADHD spent my money for me. I used to blame myself for being bad with money. I've said it before many times on this YouTube channel before I was diagnosed. I just thought it was a character flaw, a laziness. It was something that brought me a lot of shame and a lot of like really guilty, bad, yucky feelings. I've had entire therapy sessions about this, but I now know it's not that I didn't care. It's like my executive function was fried, not working. My dopamine regulation is somewhat skewed, and that really intersects with money. My working memory is basically held together with masking tape. Because of my ADHD, I would buy things that I already owned. I literally remember finding 3 jumpers that looked the exact same. Very recently realized I had 3 different electric toothbrushes, 3 almost full jars of cinnamon, anyone? Like it's not funny, but I throughout my 20s would forget when bills were due. And then I'd avoid checking because I'd be just afraid to see. I chased emotional relief through retail therapy, buying things, little treats that added up to like $1,000 a month. For a long time, I put off money admin until it became a full-blown crisis. Like I was hemorrhaging money. Examples of how ridiculous this can get. I have forgotten flights I was supposed to get on. So I have been in a different country and like assumed my flight was at a certain time on a certain day, just didn't check, showed up at the airport, missed, my flight was a day ago, and had to on the spot pay for another ticket, like a really expensive transatlantic ticket. Things like that have happened to me so many times. My friends used to just have an ongoing joke about it, and like I was just like this mess, or like scatty, or just like an idiot. Like, you know, I was just like a laughing stock because of how often things like this would happen. I can't even imagine how much money I've essentially lit on fire because of my ADHD. And the kicker is that like I really tried, like every time for a long time that I tried to budget, because I always thought I had to have one of these special budgeting apps or whatever. Every time I tried to do that, I just felt like I was trying to film a video like this in a language that I just couldn't speak, you know? I work with lists. Granted, my notes app has like hundreds and hundreds of lists and they're all in the wrong order, but like I know where each list is. I've always functioned in organized chaos. Like I did my degree in just absolute chaos, crap and shit and piles everywhere. But yeah, I had to start keeping lists, which I avoided for so long. So I figured like maybe this whole money thing with me is just because I'm bad at maths. Because I am bad at maths. In school, I was absolutely terrible with maths and business. But no, this goes so much deeper than just being shit with a calculator. Okay, ADHD-friendly money systems. Let's talk solutions. You're not going to watch this and become a perfectly frugal spreadsheet queen. If you would like someone like that, please go and follow one of my best friends, Hannah Witten. Could never be me. I wish, but no, this is about building systems that my brain and perhaps your brain understand, like systems that work with this kind of a brain and not against it. Number one is that you need to reframe finances with self-compassion. Understand the ADHD tax. Just the concept that having ADHD adds a tangible cost, like you will lose money directly because of your ADHD. It happens to people who are medicated and people who are not medicated. It is real. Late fees, impulse buys, forgotten bills, double buying things. Treat these money mistakes as data, not character flaws, and try and develop a growth mindset. You know, it's really helpful to understand where your finances may be being impacted by your brain in the first place. Until you understand your ADHD, it's very hard to really see the bigger picture and to kind of grow from where you're at. Where you're at financially may not be where I'm at all. So when it comes to money, every financial expert that I follow says these same points. So they always say to first focus on getting out of debt. If you need to have a bit of debt because of whatever situation you're in, that's fine. But the number one thing before you worry about saving or anything like that is clearing your debt. The next thing is to work on building what they call a peace of mind fund. So start with 3 months of essentials, expenses, whatever it would cost you to survive for 3 months. If you weren't working, after that, you can build up your peace of mind fund to like max 6 months. After that, you're looking at investing. And I'm still not really at the place where I'm very concerned with investing. I have some savings, but we spend and invest a lot in our home, in the renovation. So I see anything I spend on this house as an investment, but when that's done, then I'm going to look at properly getting into investing money. But yeah, regardless of where you're at, like you could have plenty of savings and still be diabolical with money, like money that you could be investing. So this isn't just for people who are like at the very beginning and have nothing. Like this is important for everyone, because there was a time when I remember in my personal bank account I had like a couple of €100,000 and I was just spending like that was bottomless, when I could have been investing that money and now it would be worth so much more. And instead I was like, my ADHD was just like, ooh, shiny thing. And that comes back to bite you when you're older. Like when you don't set up a pension, every year that goes by, you're denying money from your future self. And granted, not everyone is in a position to establish a private pension when the cost of living is so insane. But some people are, like some people are watching this video with very good jobs and are still really terrible with money. Next, I would say automate everything that you can. Have automatic payments set up for things and have a little notebook somewhere that's right on your desk where you can always grab it, and in it just have a list of like your subscriptions. I recently had to go and add a subscription down to my list, and lads, it's a lot. And then I ended up cancelling a couple of subscriptions that I was paying and just not using much, just for like apps. I had one app that I had gotten a subscription for like identifying plants during my obsessed with plants and gardening stage when I was writing my novel Glass Houses, and like I hadn't looked at it in such a long time and I was still paying for it every year, a lot of money. So yeah, really go in and look at your subscriptions. If you haven't looked at them for a long time, please just, I know you're terrified. I know you're like, I don't want to know. But then you may as well be getting a lighter and lighting your money on fire. So please just tonight, just look at them. Even pause this video and look at them now. Your phone has a list of apps, and if you open up your bank app, you can go through it and see what things are coming out often. Maybe it's Netflix, maybe it's Now TV, Disney. They all add up a lot, and sometimes they increase the prices without you even realizing it, like YouTube Premium. I'm a YouTuber and I got rid of my YouTube Premium because the last time I looked at it, it was like 30 something euro a month. And I was like, no, bitch, I don't watch enough YouTube anymore. I have 2 kids. I don't watch enough YouTube to justify that. No way. Next is about visual financial structure. So some people get on great with apps like Revolut and Monzo and things, and you can kind of see your different pots or envelopes, like headings, essentials, fun money, savings. I just like to have different bank accounts. So I have my personal bank account, which is just for me money. We have our joint bank account, which is for family essentials, expenses, food, that kind of thing. I have a savings account. And yeah, this is because ADHD brains need visual boundaries. If all of the money is in one pot, it's a free for all, okay? I know this through experience. I've done it. I've had the one bank account and it's not a good idea. I also wouldn't be ashamed to admit that I have body doubled a lot for money tasks. So sometimes I need to ask someone else, always usually my husband, but the odd time my dad, to just be with me when I have to do a money thing. Like if it's something to do with money and I have to pay something, or I have to just anything to do with money, make it bank transfer, anything, it really stresses me out. It really overwhelms me. And I'll put it off for that reason. I will ask someone to be with me to do it. Also, my husband, he is in charge of actually paying the bills, of like letting me know what my half is. So like if you're in a couple or a marriage and your partner is neurotypical, maybe ask them to like tell you once a month, this is how much you need to send to the joint account or whatever. Because yeah, it's just not my strong point. I'm the spontaneous fun one. I'll come up with like the most fun date ever, but don't ask me to pay a bill. If you must. So there is the odd thing like with a parking ticket, like the odd time I'll have to pay something directly myself. Ask someone to be there while you pay it. It just will help. Accountability. Now, this one is massive for me. I have a rule, a 24-hour rule, a dopamine delay rule, a waiting buffer. If there's something non-essential that I want to buy, like something that I do not need, but I just want to buy it, I don't let myself just buy it on the spot anymore. I just don't, because 9 times out of 10, if I wait, I've forgotten about it and I've saved the money. Or like I just realized that I already have it, or I don't need it, or don't actually want it. Like it happens so much you wouldn't believe, especially with Instagram. Instagram, when influencers link their lovely shoes or something, like it happens to me a lot. Wait 24 hours. Like, what, you know what I do a lot? I screenshot something, I'll be like, oh, I have to remember to get that. I really want that. Whatever it is. And I probably have a grand total of 10,000 screenshots on my phone from the past few years. I never see, unless I'm scrolling back to look at a photo, I might see a screenshot. And if I do, if I like a week later scroll through to look for a photo and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that, and then I still really want it, then I'll buy it. You're welcome. I've just saved you a lot of money. Sorry, I just went for a snack and I fixed my lippy. It was really annoying me. Do you know when you get that line? Manky. I mentioned fun money. So yeah, having a fun money allowance is really important for me. And even when I was in university, I did this. Like when I was essentially I was getting like money from the government to go do my degree, and it was like €188 a week. I had like a tiny little amount of that set aside for just like to go toward a new outfit, or just like, I don't know, a skincare product or cheap jewelry, whatever. But just having a little bit of money to get a little bit of a dopamine by buying something, I do that. And for me now, like the things that I go for are usually like bath salts or like really healthy food, like a healthy restaurant where it's kind of expensive, but it's like really healthy for me. So I feel like now the things that I go for are better, and I'm not like wasting, I'm not buying all this plastic crap. Like I'm much better with my choices. That has been the result of a lot of personal growth that I've been through the past few years, and learning a lot about where my stuff comes from. So yeah, I like one of my little things that I bought for myself this month that I didn't quite need, but I saw that Wild deodorant was bought by Unilever. My lovely friend Lena made this video. It was really good, really enlightening. Really, I was raging about that because I've been using Wild for many years. And anyway, she mentioned about how fussy deodorant fits into the Wild pots. And now I did have some deodorant left, but I just wanted to go and support a brand that was doing something good. And I wanted like an excuse to share Lena's video on my socials. So I just went and I bought myself some fussy deodorant, and yeah, got a nice little boost out of that purchase, and it's not exactly contributing to anything bad or whatever, you know. So I have gotten a lot better at spending my money on better things, like buying better quality, and the 24-hour rule really helps with that. Another thing that actually really helps is just having micro check-ins. As I'd said earlier, like I kind of used to put my head in the sand when it came to my money and how much I was spending, like tracking my outgoings and stuff. And now I have a thing set up on my phone to remind me once a week to just look at my outgoings, little skim through, little teeny tiny read through, and it just, I don't know, puts my mind at ease. Or even if it doesn't, if I'm like, oh God, that's a lot. Like sometimes, some months, a lot of expenses just kind of come out of the blue, you know. Or it might be a big house spending month. Like recently we've been doing a lot of garden work, and like it's added up to an awful lot of money for things that you wouldn't think costs a lot of money, like stones. But just the awareness gives me more of a feeling of being in control, and yeah, having those reminders. You could ask someone to remind you, but like just setting up the reminder. Ask someone else to set up the reminder on your phone, because that's the kind of thing I used to procrastinate on a lot. I'd be like, oh yeah, I need to set up a reminder on my phone, don't I? Like for birthdays and stuff. I couldn't tell you when most of my most intimate loved ones, like I don't know when people's birthdays are. I'm so shit. And yeah, the micro checking, it helps you keep tabs on what I like to call invisible spending. So like the kind of things that are reoccurring and add up to a lot without you realizing it, like takeaways. And if you're not aware of how much you're spending, because sometimes it's just like, you know, you're really hungry and it's the end of the day and you're like, oh, let's just order in, let's just get a takeaway. And if you're not necessarily budgeting for that, it got to a point where we realized, we went back and we looked through, we were spending so much money on takeaways. It was like 4 nights a week. Sometimes we were getting takeaways. And then even when we tried to cut back, we were going to like cafes and everything. So they were technically, like I was putting that under the takeaway heading, just eating out basically. And it was adding up to so much money. So then to prevent that, because we became aware of it, we were able to get a meal kit delivery service. So that takes care of 4 dinners a week straight away. We don't have to think about 4 dinners a week. It just comes out. It's under our subscriptions, another subscription. But you know, it's just so good that we looked and we realized there was a problem in the first place. And just having visual reminders, I have put sticky notes with savings goals on them, and the odd time Thomas and I will sit down and do like a kind of a savings little list, like figuring out how we need to budget to save a certain amount per month and stuff like that. But just having the number and like why we want to have that number, like what it is we're trying to save for. Right now we're trying to save for a kitchen, a new kitchen. So like just having the reminders there, it just puts things in perspective and stops you from buying shit that you just don't need. If you take nothing else from this video, please just take this. You're not bad with money. You're just navigating a system that was not built with your brain in mind. But your brain is brilliant. And with these tools, the things I'm talking about, you can be more financially stable, I swear. I had times and days where I just never thought I'd have any money. Honestly, like I related so much to that scene in Sex and the City where Carrie Bradshaw talks about one day being the old lady who will live in her shoes when she realizes how much money she has spent on shoes in recent years, and that it was like exponentially more than what she realized she'd been spending.
100 times 400, there's your down payment.
Well, that's only 4,000.
No, it's 40,000.
I spent $40,000 on shoes and I have no place to live?
That's been me my whole life. Again, there's now and there's not now. And if in the not now times I did silly things with money, in the now it's not easy to think about not now. You know what I mean? It's like if I'm about to do something, my brain doesn't naturally go, oh, but what about blah, 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 blah. So I need in the now constant reminders, the sticky notes, phone alerts. I need someone on board with me, like my husband, to have these conversations with and to be there with me and reminding me of things. And like you just need to set things up that will work with your right now brain. You know, if you too have ADHD, please share below your biggest ADHD money moment, like the stupidest thing that you've ever done, like what I said earlier with like missing flights and stuff like that. I want to read similar experiences you may have had, and just like maybe you've not thought about it until now that, oh, actually that that was ADHD. That wasn't just me being a moron. I hope this has made some people feel better and just, yeah, like I am human like all of you and I have many flaws. I don't see my ADHD as a flaw. I actually love it. I've learned about how actually all of the best things about me are probably because I am wired that way. However, it has made my life challenging, and there are many things that I could have prevented if I had known earlier. So with this little mini series, I just kind of want to shine a light on that and just bring a bit more awareness about ADHD. I've had a few of you reach out who've been diagnosed since I shared my diagnosis, which is just amazing. Like, even just having one message like that from someone makes it so worth talking about online. But the fact that it's been multiple people is just, oh, I love it. I love this silly website. I love all of you in that very weird way that a content creator can love faceless numbers. But like, today I met a follower in the playground and she said my postpartum videos really helped her, and then we had a little chat, and like, I love this community. I really have such a deep love for what we have on this channel, and I'm gonna shut up and go. This wasn't supposed to be a rambly video, but it may. Farewell, chat to me in the comments, and I will see you in my monthly vlog, which is coming next.